All right, y'all, welcome back and happy Monday. Today we're going to be breaking down Tennessee's pass rush from 2024 to 2025. I think that the biggest place that our defense has room to get better at is with closing and getting sacks. I think that we can get more sacks in 2025. Y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to start right here with Pro Football Focus. This is every single Power 4 team, and this is just edge rushers. So this column here shows you what the players play. This is the conference. This is the teams. So looking at pass rush stats, what I like to start off on is just the pressure rate. So pressure rate, I think that shows you a lot about how you're impacting quarterbacks. Tennessee was number 4 nationally with our pressure rate, just with our edge rushers at 25.8%. That's number 1 in the SEC. Now, how does that correlate to the sacks that we generated? We got to scroll down because we did not close well. We were at number 31. We had 16 sacks. I think that might be like 9th or 10th in the SEC, just not good enough, right? And some people talked about James Pierce Jr. They said, well, he took all that time off, over the summer, and he came back and he was flat, didn't have a really good season. Well, honestly speaking, most of these missed sacks came from James Pierce. That man is a problem. He was a problem. I don't think that he took any steps back outside of just not closing. So can we do better? I think especially with our Leos, edge is strong side and it's Leos. But y'all will see with the numbers once we go further into this, that it's really just more like our Leos didn't close very well. Can we do better in 2025? Now, this is defensive tackle. Same thing, every single Power 4 school. And we're going to start with the pressure rate everywhere that we go. So pressure rate for our D tackles, we were 13th nationally, which I think that was, let me see, 1, 2, it's like 3rd in the SEC, so 14.3%. But sacks generated, watch this, goes up to number 6. So we had 13 total sacks, and that was 2nd in the SEC. Now, PFF, they count sacks that might have been a face mask, like a penalty, whatever, but they count everything. So to me, you get more of like a very realistic look at how the pressure was being generated. But this is excellent. This just shows that those guys did a really good job of closing, much better than our Leos and edge rushers did. And I think that they'll take another step forward in 2025. We have guys that are not necessarily pass rushing specialists. And the reason I say that they're not specialists is just because they can also stop the run well, but they're built to get after that passer. More stunts, more blitzes. We've broken that thing down several different ways. But yeah, I think that this will get better for us, not just with the pressure rate. The pressure rate should go up, I would say, to at least probably 17, 18%, maybe even 20%. But the sacks, I don't think that takes a step back by any means. Now, let's talk about Tennessee's front 4 as a unit. We're not counting linebackers with this, just our front 4. So same thing, right? We got to take a look at this pressure rate first and foremost, which is right here. All right, so pressure rate just with our front 4 was 7th nationally, and it was 3rd in the SEC. So 33.7%, which is really good. But looking at the sacks, okay, looking at the sacks, we're all the way down here at number 21. And we had a total of 29 sacks. So, yeah, I mean, we could have had more, and I'm going to show you exactly how many more we could have had. This column here is just going to show you every single Power 4 team who had the most missed sacks. That's what this column shows us. So Tennessee was like 6th worst in this category. That's the way that I'm looking at it. We missed 19 sacks last season, y'all. 19, which is mind-blowing. So we could definitely take a big step forward in 2025. But let me show you the individual numbers from our players in 2025, just with our edge rushers, just with our tackles, and this is just about pass rush. So same thing here, right? Let's talk about, well, actually, first, let me show you all this because this is something else. So James Pierce, he had the most pass rushing snaps for us last season, only 254. I want to say that Abdul Carter, he had more than this. I don't remember exactly how many more, but most players have way more than this because we rotate so much. So whenever you're looking at James Pierce's numbers, like his sack numbers and all of that, it's going to be kind of skewed. It's going to kind of be thrown off. And then same thing with the sacks on the previous screens with some of the other teams, just because they played more games so they could get more sacks. But anyway, the whole point here is that, yeah, I mean, like, don't sleep on Tennessee's players. That's why I always just look right here at this pressure rate, because that tells you all that you need to know, right? Or most of what you need to know. You also need to know where you're closing, where you're missing sacks. And if you're an NFL team, you're going to be looking at how can you get better at that. But just for our players, I mean, James Pierce, he's the guy we're about to look at it. He's the one that missed the most sacks, but his pressure rate was the highest in the country. Some of y'all that have been on this channel for a long period of time, we've looked at this prior to like the NFL draft stuff, and he was actually up at like 24%. I don't know why that went down, but it did. He was still number one. Okay. And then I want to say that Omar Nomalat, he might have had the highest pressure rate of all interior linemen in Power Four. So he was up there for sure. But yeah, these two guys, they're gone. All right. But looking at Carson Gentle, very small sample size, but he was up there. He's back. Tyree West, Joshua Josephs, Don Bailey, Bryson Eason, David Hobbs, Caleb Herring, and also Jackson Moy. So all these guys are going to be back. You can see that their pressure rates were really, really high. So I feel very confident from that standpoint. Now we can just look at the sacks because I'm sure that y'all would probably want to do that. And you can see that it's pretty much going to be like the same thing, right? Now, with some of our other guys that didn't get to play as much, their sack totals, like we just touched on, is not going to be as high just because they didn't have as many snaps. And we'll actually scroll this thing over so that y'all can see these are the snaps here, right? So you can see what the difference is from the players that actually really got to play and so on and so forth. But with that being said, let's go on ahead and take a look at the missed sacks just from our team last year, all right? And you can see that, like I said, this column here, this is going to show you how many missed sacks everyone had. James Pierce had a total of 7. Joshua Josephs had 2. So Tennessee's Leos in 2024, based off of PFF, missed 9 sacks. That is huge because if you just look at the guys playing on the inside, playing at tackle, we only have 8 missed sacks here. So it's 2 for each of these players. Obviously, Omar Nomalat, he's gone. But these guys did a much better job of actually closing, which is the whole point of this. I'm really not too concerned about Tennessee's tackles having a problem closing. Can they do better? 100%. Can our linebackers do better? For sure, because they missed a whole lot of different things. But yes, they can definitely take some steps forward. But what is Joshua Josephs going to do, right? Can he step up in a way that maybe James Pierce couldn't? I don't know that his pressure rate is going to be at 23%, where he has a lot more opportunities to make the sacks. But I think that maybe he can close better. I just think that that's possible whenever he has more reps. We'll see. He's going to be the guy. Hope that he's fully healthy once we get to that Syracuse game, because I think that he could rack them up in that one because they like to pass. That's his chance to put his name out there. Also with James Pierce, there was so much hype coming into this, coming into 2024. And maybe that kind of messed with him some. Maybe he was a little bit over anxious, and this is inexcusable. We should never be missing sacks versus Georgia. And if the quarterback dares to run, you got to take that 15-yard penalty and lay his butt out. But either way, this is the biggest thing. What about Caleb Herring? Because he didn't get a whole lot of snaps. I think that he's got the skills. I think that he can close. Jordan Ross, I think that he's a closer. You know, he's just one of those guys. I've seen it for such a long time. That's just what he does. We saw it in that orange and white game. He could have closed more than he did. He, said, I'm just going to back off. But he probably had like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 sacks in that orange and white game. But the whole point here, y'all, is that I think that we will for sure take that step forward. Maybe not so much with the pressure rate, but with our closing rate, that should go up, I'm going to say, about probably 40%, just with our Leos. Now, on the other side, strong side ends, I love Tyree West, Don Bailey. He might be bumped inside, but either way, I think that he could do a pretty good job there too. We've got a whole lot of guys there that I absolutely love. Playing at tackle, like I said, I'm just really not too worried about them missing things, especially with different blitz packages. That'll help them where they don't have to play out in space as much. Obviously, as y'all can see here, typically whenever you miss these quarterbacks, they can make things happen down the field. It's typically a really, really bad play. It could be 6 points. It could be a first down. The quarterback gets to run because the coverage has already run off. So it's tough for these kind of like bigger guys that play on our front four to be able to get after these quarterbacks who are mobile. Something else is that Tennessee's really big with our pass rushing lanes. I don't think that that's really going to stop, but I would love if we could. And it does feel like closing has been a strong point of emphasis pretty much since spring. Like I've heard coaches talking about that several times. But I think that maybe we'll let these guys pin their ears back and just kind of do what they do more. At least I'm hoping that that's what the case is. Not 100% sure. And I don't even know how do you teach players to close better. For me, it's kind of like dropping passes where, it's just about focusing. It's just about being in good quality shape where you're not tired, you're not gassed. You don't want to be grabbing high and hitting people's face masks and getting penalties. There's some things that I guess you could teach, but it's mostly just about I think calming your heart rate down at the point of contact, at that moment of truth. You just got to know, hey, I'm going to close here. I'm going to make this play. For some reason, I just feel like that's going to be so much better in 2025. But that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of confidence with this defense and with this whole team. And I know that this thing is stopped here, but let me just say this to y'all, man. Tennessee's passing game, I think that it will take that step forward. We can always lean on our defense and on our running game. We didn't have too many sacks. We didn't have as many sacks as we could have last season. But if we can take that step forward there and put the offense in a situation where, hey, we know exactly what's coming. It's got to be some sort of a deep pass or this is a screen. I think that helps us out like tenfold. So I'm very, very confident. I'm very high on my Tennessee Volunteers, and I think that y'all should be too. But please share your thoughts down in that comment section. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be talking to y'all later on. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.